My name is Susana Figueiredo. I work in SPI, one of the partners in this DIGI-B-CUBE project, and I'll make a short introduction to the project and the webinar, and then give the floor to my colleagues. So we were just waiting to see if we could get, we have quite a lot of registered people for the webinar. They haven't all joined yet, but I think we need to start now, otherwise it's actually not fair for the ones who already joined us. So welcome to the DIGI-B-CUBE webinar on funding opportunities to support SMEs. So before we start, just a few notes. We are recording this this webinar, but your names won't appear on the recording. We're just recording what the panelists are presenting. So there's I think there are no issues here. If you have any doubts at any time, please write them in the chat and they will be answered in the end. The presentations will be later sent to all of you, and we will include the questions in our website, where we have a specific section for the frequently asked questions on these call vouchers. That's what we will be talking about today. As you've probably seen in the emails exchanged with you and in our website, there's this short introduction to the project and the objectives of the webinar, and then we'll have three different panelists speaking. So my colleague Patricia will be talking about the vouchers that are currently available under DIGI-B-CUBE, and I'm sure you want to know more about these vouchers, so Patricia will do an introduction to this. We'll have then some examples of innovation challenges from another colleague, Gavel, from SECFO, and then we'll guide you through the procedures on how to apply to the existing open calls. And then we'll have time in the end to answer the questions that you will be I'm sure that will be raised by some of you in the chat, and this part of the session will be moderated by the organizer of the workshop and my colleague from SPI, Olga. Sorry, I'm just having some issue here. Okay. So just very short introduction on, sorry, I need to go up, and something is wrong here. So Olga, if you can help me here. Okay. This is a bit crazy. So some facts on this DIGI-B-CUBE project. This is a Horizon 2020 funded project, and the objective is to help the reconfiguration of the value chain of medical diagnostics through digital innovations. Our target group are small and medium-sized enterprises in the healthcare and IT sectors, and we aim to promote cross-industry cooperation in order to develop more innovative solutions to help the reconfiguration of the value chain of medical diagnostics. The project will run until 2022, and as you can see, there are 2.7 million euros available directly to support SMEs through these voucher schemes that we are now launching. The project involves a consortium of a total of 9 organizations, so it's 6 clusters working in the healthcare and IT sectors, and 3 SMEs in total from 7 countries. Okay, if you can help me move this slide down, something is happening with my control of the.
It's already on the set, Susan.
Well, but I cannot see the.
Wait back. I can just.
Yeah, if you can change to slide 6, that would be great because I. Okay. So
Here.
thank you. So very briefly, because I'm sure you're all here to learn more about. Well, this is wrong. If you can move up to slide 6, Olga, that would be great. I'm not touching my mouse right now. My colleagues will talk in more detail about the voucher scheme later. So I just want to, which is the main focus of the webinar today. Olga, can you please move up to 6? Okay. So just to let you know, besides the voucher or the kind of help that we are providing to companies in the project, we are organizing matchmaking events, and at this stage with the coronavirus, of course, lots of webinars and not so much physical events where organizations of different types and with different goals can know each other and come up with projects. So we're helping in this matchmaking events. We have developed some digital transformation services which are available to companies that register in our website and platform. We're helping working on digitalization challenges, namely through the voucher scheme, and also on pilot projects. So we have some digital transformation services available online. So if you want, you can check if you're interested, please check this platform. It's easy to register, and it's the first step. You need to register, of course, in order to later access the vouchers. I think I'm already taking too long. Just some ideas, some kind of sectors. When we talk about healthcare and IT, we're talking about our focus is on biobanking, bioimaging, biosensing, other industries. And on the IT side, things like companies working in artificial intelligence, big data, apps, Internet of Things, and of course, other things that can combine with the healthcare needs in order to advance this digital innovation. Taking too long, I'll just give the room to Patricia from Business Upper Austria, and she'll explain the voucher scheme in some more detail. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Susanna. So as you can see on this slide, our main task is to support the adaptation of digital technologies in the medical diagnostics value chain and also in the related value chains as shown in the diagram here on this side. So the topics can vary from automated preventive medicine up to wearables and virtual assistants. So more details also can be found in our open document where we have some more facts about the core issues. So okay, I was too quick. Maybe we go back Thank you, Olga. So some facts about the voucher scheme. So as already mentioned, we have a total of 2.7 million equity-free direct support for SMEs. So we will distribute this money or the funding to the SMEs by a voucher system. And here we have different voucher types, which depends also on the purpose and on the scope of the projects. In the framework of the DIGI-B-CUBE project, there is the opportunity for SMEs to be funded up to 60,000 euros, so through several vouchers. And the eligible criteria for that is that you are an SME per EU definition. So we also added here the link with some facts. So it's important, and this status depends on the number of employees, on the turnover, and some other facts. And it's also important that you're located in one of the EU countries or Horizon 2020 associated countries. And most important is also that you're active in health, medicine, biotech, biopharma, IT, or related sectors. And then on the next slide, we have all in all 4 different voucher types. So the first voucher type is the travel voucher, where we support SMEs to travel to our workshops in real life and also to our matchmaking events. And here I hope that you will take the opportunity in autumn when we can meet each other in real life again. I hope so. Then the next voucher type is the prototyping voucher. Here, one SME can be funded up to 20,000 euro. In this project, or the purpose of this voucher is to support the prototyping of a solution, so proof of concept, feasibility study for a digitalization challenge in the medical diagnostics and related value chain. And here the main requirements are that the consortia exists of minimum 2 SMEs and maximum 3 organization. And here it's important that at least 2 different sectors are available or visible in this consortia. So for example, you have one SME from the health side and one SME from the IT or related sector side. And the project runtime is 1 to 3 months. The next voucher is the Customized Solution Innovation Voucher. Here an SME can be funded up to 50,000 euro, and the maximum funding per project is 150,000 euro. Here the purpose is that we want to support that novel product services based on an existing proven concept that addresses a digitalization challenge in the medical diagnostics and related value chain. And here again, it's important that you have at least two SMEs and at least 2 different sectors. So again, one from the health side and one from the IT side. And the project runtime is here 2 to 6 months. And our last voucher is the co-working distribution lab voucher. Here an SME can be funded up to 10,000 euro. Here it's important that we support here successfully completed customized solution innovation vouchers, where one of the SME from the consortium is working on the project together with an incubator, accelerator, or a co-working space together with one of the DIGI-B-CUBE clusters partners. And here the project runtime is half a month up to 2 months. Okay, and what makes you eligible for our funding system? So, and what are the eligible costs? So once you can also there are the personal costs required for the planned work implementation. So here it's important that you add your real actual costs, because it can happen that we, after the project, we check some payings or some informations about the real costs. Then it's also possible that you do some subcontracting with third parties. Here you have a maximum of 20% of voucher value, which you can use for subcontracting. And one of the other eligible costs is also the value added tax, and with some of the explanation if it's not eligible or not, you can check it more in detail here. Okay, this is everything from my side. Now I pass the floor to my colleague Gavel from SECFO. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Good morning, everybody. My name is Gavel Walczak. I work in SECFO, and well, my role today is to go with you for a moment to the sphere of imagination, because I would like to give you some tips on which you can find useful while projects. I will talk about a few examples of innovation challenges which you can deal with your projects. And we have selected three for today, and the first one is about the optimization of data flows. Here the obstacle is that there is a mess. There is a mess in the system and its interoperability. We have different actors. We have which are different vendors, different authorities collecting their own data with different approaches of tackling the same issues and with different processes used for that. The result are that both costs and owner sometimes of the same process is not clear. So what we can do with that is the standardization of information exchange processes and protocols, technical and also procedural. And we can use open source components and also some alternative software, for example, from big vendors. The competences which we think that can be useful to deal with all this are everything related to interoperability, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and different types of software which could be for development and management. Preconditions for this type of projects, in our opinion, are users with needs of these services. It's really important to make sure that you have this cross-sectoral approach with your projects, so that you have users from the medical or healthcare side, then data providers from the other side, medical expertise, compliance partners can be also really useful here. And another example is related to mobile diagnostics. And here the obstacle is, again, data, ownership of data which comes from different devices used, but also data privacy and information overload. What we can do with that is to work on early detection of diseases which may motivate patients with the next steps, but also can give can involve them into the whole process and give them some control and also money, the low-cost devices which can work long. The competences here of companies may be related to cloud edge computing, machine learning, video and image processing, or electronics engineering. Preconditions for this type of projects are cheap and secure electronics, and again, end users, use case providers. The third example, which we have prepared for today, is related to real-time monitoring. And here the obstacles, potential obstacles which you can deal with are related to human behavior, but also technology issues, the fragmentation of market, and again, no interoperability, and also qualitative data. The problem with the quality of data provided. Solutions, potential solutions for that: standardization, interoperability, again, real-time data and remote sensing solutions, competences of partners, IoT, but also cybersecurity, software development, project management, and GDPR. Preconditions: users, and data providers can be also very useful here. So from my side, that's all for now. And now it's my turn to give a floor to our colleague, to Tobias Neumann. Tobias, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. My name is Heath Economy from CI3. I want to give you some more information about the open call procedures and about how to apply and the procedures following the application. So the first point, I want to give an overview over the timeline of the open call. It started in April, and basically for our two main voucher types, the prototyping voucher and the Customized Solution Innovation Voucher, we have 2 rounds of open call. So we have 2 deadlines. The first one is at the end of July, and the second one is in February 2001. So these are the 2 cutoff days. That means the applications which are submitted from the opening of the call onwards are collected, and then at the cutoff we do the first round of evaluation until the end of August. We select the successful proposals. The results are announced at the end of August, and then the project can be implemented. And then, as I mentioned, there's a second round, so further application can be submitted, and there's a second cutoff in February 2021, where we again evaluate all the received applications and select the ones that will receive funding. So this will be announced in March 2021, and following that, the project can be implemented. For the co-working disruption lab vouchers, which rely on a already successfully completed customized solution innovation voucher project, there's basically open continuous calls starting from October 2020. So basically from here on, applications can be submitted continuously. All right. Now for the first round of the open call on our open call website of the project website DIGI-B-CUBE.eu, we have the most important appointments here. So the deadline, oops, sorry about that. The deadline closes on 29th of July, then the results are announced on 28th of August, and the projects which have been awarded have to start latest on 30th September 2020. Although you can find very helpful documents which are listed here, like the open call overview, a framework for voucher-based funding, where you have another explanation of the voucher system and the voucher types. And although you find templates for the application and for the reporting documents, that gives you an idea and what kind of information you need to provide for the application, and also later on during the reporting if you were successfully selected. Also, we have frequently asked questions in case some questions are not in detail found here in these other documents. You can take a look here as well. No, it didn't work. All right. So regarding the application, how do you apply? The application is going through the DIGI-B-CUBE collaborative online platform. So the first step is to set up a user account. It just provides some basic information like your email address and your name. And then following that, you fill out the organization profile, where you provide some information about your organization, like the name, your country of origin, what kind of organization you are, for instance, the SME, and in which sector you're operating. Also, you will provide some information on who the legal signatory of your organization is. And before this profile can go online and you can use all the functionalities of the platform, your legal signatory has to approve the use of this information. So to the email address which you provided in this form, an email will be sent automatically. And this email contains two links, one for approval, one for rejection. And then the legal signatory of your organization can approve the profile. And then your profile will go live. So that means it's visible on the platform, also for other users. And you can start using the different services on the collaborative online platform. So the next step then would be to find collaboration partners. On the one hand, you can also do that on the DIGI-B-CUBE platform. So here on the user dashboard, there's one option, matchmaking module, which provides you some search functions for other organizations which are registered on the platform, which you can try to identify collaboration partners and contact them. This is still work in process, so just keep in mind we will keep improving this service continuously. Another option, as already mentioned, are the DIGI-B-CUBE matchmaking events, and of course maybe you have already collaboration partners in your own network which you know already, which you want to form a sub-consortium to submit an application. And that is basically the final step. So together with your collaboration partners, you fill out this application form here. So on the left side of the user dashboard, there are different options for the different voucher types. So for instance, prototyping voucher, then you just fill out this web form and submit the application. All right. So as I said, we're going to collect the application until the cut-off points and then evaluate them. And I want to here give you some information how the evaluation is done. So the voucher applications are going to be evaluated by predefined criteria, which I mentioned down here. For the prototyping vouchers, they will be evaluated by 3 internal reviewers from the DIGI-B-CUBE consortium. For the Customized Solution Innovation Vouchers, they will be evaluated by 2 internal and 2 external subject matter experts. And these reviewers are rating the application based on these different criteria. For instance, the impact. So what is the impact on the value chain, and what is the industrial relevance? That is also one of the most important criteria here, because it has a double weight compared to the other criteria which have a single weight. Then the next criteria is the concept. So how sound is your concept? Is this feasible, what you're suggesting within the timeline and the method? And how innovative is your approach? Then the third point is the consortium. So who are you partnering up with? What is their expertise? What is their track record? Do you have the partners the necessary expertise to implement the project? And then the last part is the resources. So what kind of resources are you allocating to the project? So do you have a dedicated project management, or do you have a IT programmer with the necessary experience, and so on and so forth? And of course, then also the man months you are calculating, are they reasonable? Does it make sense to implement the project in this scale? And all these criteria are rated from 1 to 5. 1 is poor, 5 is excellent, and then in the end, like a cumulative score is calculated. And all applications will be ranked according to this total evaluation score, and the project with the highest score will be selected for funding. The cutoff is determined by the funds available per evaluation period, but as you could see before in this table, there's a certain minimum threshold per criteria which you need to reach to ensure like a certain standard of quality. Yes, and if we have equally scoped proposals but not enough funding in this round to fund all of them, then we will do a second round of evaluation where we again evaluate these equally scoped proposals and select the final winners. And of course, if your application was unsuccessful, you can always resubmit it in the next application period. All right, trying to go to the next slide. I have some issues here. Okay, great, thank you. So now some information for the lucky winners. Basically, when they got their project awarded, what you need to keep in mind. So during the project implementation or after, you have to submit 2 reports. So for projects which are longer than 2 months, there will be an intermediate report at halftime. This will be submitted through a web form, although in the DIGI-B-CUBE online platform. Consists of 2 parts. The first part gives a general overview about the status and the progress of the project, and that also includes a description of all the work done by the different partners, and also maybe deviations to the work plan which occurred or which are foreseeable. And the second part contains information about the budget you have spent, plus you have to submit the corresponding invoices. For instance, subcontracting, if you hire the subcontractor, you have to provide the invoices here as well. And similar story with the final report. At the end of the project, you have to submit the report within 2 weeks of the end date, again through the DIGI-B-CUBE online platform. Same story, the first part is focused on the performance of the project and the major results which were achieved, again with a description of all the work done by the different partners and deviations maybe which occurred in the work plan. And the second part is again the budget spent together with the corresponding invoices, plus a short feedback section. And if you want to have more information about these reports, as I mentioned already previously, on the digibcube.eu website under the open core sections, we have templates for these reports that we have a better idea what the report look like. But they will be submitted eventually through the online platform through web forms. All right. That brings me to my next slide regarding the financial provisions and the payment. So we have a pre-financing in DIGI-B-CUBE. So if you get awarded project and in your project proposal, you have your estimated costs, you will receive 50% of that estimated eligible cost within 2 weeks after signing the grant agreement. And the remaining funds will then be transferred within 2 weeks after successful completion of the project. And successful completion of the project means here that the intermediate report is approved by the DIGI-B-CUBE consortium and also the final report. You should keep in mind that the approval of the final report might take 3 to 4 weeks. So latest 6 weeks after that, after submitting it, if approved, you will receive the remaining funds. And since we have this pre-financing, if the actual costs incurred after the completion of the project are less than the pre-financing, then of course you have to refund the excessive funds back to the DIGI-B-CUBE project coordinator within 2 weeks after approval of the final report.
For any other remaining queries, doubts, or comments, please be free to visit our website to see frequently asked questions, to check and write us on info@digibcube.eu. Do follow us on the social media at DIGI-B-CUBE, and if you have any specific comments or needs in regards to territory of our cluster partner, you can write them directly. There are contacts available at our partner website page. And all the information will be sent to you after the webinar, so you can follow up with us, and we welcome you in the next editions of the webinars, and especially matchmaking networking sessions. Thank you so much, everyone.